Welcome to the party. I'm Sam Ekstrom of Locked On Sports Minnesota. Does Fanduel believe in J.J. McCarthy or not?
I'm Luke Braun of Locked On Vikings. Don't let Sam tell you he's taking a vacation to Italy. He's been banished.
Hey, this is Arif Hasan with the Wide Left Substack. I am to understand that Luke Inman invented an Italian beignet.
Luke Inman at Luke_Spinman. Who's the Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler for Vikings fans? I got an obvious and not so obvious choice for you guys on today's app.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcasts. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Football Party. It's your guys hanging out talking next level Vikings football. So join in with Arif Hasan, Locked On Vikings Luke Braun, Superior Sports Talks Luke Inman, and Vikings insider Sam Ekstrom, plus the biggest names in Minnesota football for the Minnesota Football Party. And it starts now.
Welcome in a brand new week here at Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's the Minnesota Football Party. Now streaming as well on the Locked On Vikings YouTube channel. Find our audio on the Locked On Vikings audio feed, where Luke Braun's producing great daily Vikings content. Glad you're with us. We do this every Monday, every Thursday. We've got the Care 11 crew on Wednesdays. A lot of great content here. Please subscribe. On today's show, J.J. McCarthy has a Fanduel yardage line. Is it fair? Plus the most valuable Vikings on the defensive side of the ball. And in honor of the boos that are about to cascade down on Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler, I ask the question, who are the least favorite opponents that played the Vikings routinely or in the past have played the Vikings? Your favorite athletes to boo, I guess, against the Minnesota Vikings. Plus the return of name drop.
How much time do you have, Sam?
Still an hour show?
Hey, slow news today. We got time.
When's your flight leave?
Yeah, my last show for 2 weeks. Will there be a show when I get back? Or will it happen?
Check
We'll get on mics and talk
FanDuel
for sure. That'll happen.
What's the
Yeah,
prop?
it'll resemble like rubble. You know when like in Batman Begins, when Batman comes back to the manor and it's just that's the show actually when you come back.
So
but upside you'll be a ninja. So
on my travels, I'll be touring the remains of Pompeii in the shadow of Vesuvius. You're saying it'll be similar to that?
With actually, you know, in Pompeii they've got like a bunch of like lewd graffiti and stuff like that. Same deal, like 100, like all the way down.
You know, when Simba goes back to Pride Rock to face Scar, okay, and there's just nothing. It's just toast. There's no food. It's a wasteland. Okay, I'm not saying it's gonna be that bad, Sam, but don't watch it. Okay,
might be worse.
Enjoy your vacation.
I think that makes Luke Inman Scar. That's not great.
I kind of like that.
Luke and I are going to battle. We got a lot to get into, so let's dive right in. I like to check in on FanDuel throughout the offseason, see when the lines get released, and it's usually a trickle, and we've got some J.J. McCarthy prognostication to latch onto here. Would you like to predict where FanDuel has J.J. McCarthy in terms of yardage over under?
So
J.J. McCarthy yardage.
So
I did not look.
I looked at rookie quarterback passing numbers from 2018 to 2024. And I know J.J. McCarthy is not a rookie, but I assume FanDuel is going to treat him like one, right? And so the average was about 3,600 passing yards for those who had started like 14 games and had 14 passing attempts per game. And so I am going to assume that it's around there. I assume FanDuel is going to attempt to price in the fact that Kevin O'Connell is pretty pass happy, that offensive line it should be pretty good at pass protection, and that is a great set of weapons to throw to. So my gut instinct was 35.50, but I think with all of those factors, I'm going to say FanDuel set the line at 36.50.
I have 36.75, so right on it.
Wow.
Right there.
Look at us go.
Yeah,
wow.
right there.
Imagine how
I
wrong
was
we're
trying
about to be. That's crazy.
I was trying to think back to Caleb because I remember studying those rookie props. Caleb, Jaden, Drake May, and Caleb. Different situation, obviously, right? Not the talent or supporting cast in Chicago, a defensive kind of identity team, but I think his was around like
higher rated
33.
players, right? So like,
True. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think, and also too, everybody knew he would start from week 1 as well. But I think his was around like 33, which
that's interesting.
seemed pretty
like,
low at the time. I don't know what he ended up with. But.
Have been doing all right. I mean, like both Jaden and Caleb threw over 3,500, right? So
but yeah.
Like, and Jaden was a pretty prolific runner on top of that. So that's interesting. I'm curious.
I have a
Fantastic
factoid
projections
about this. JJ McCarthy's line is the exact same as Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Sam Darnold's. Does that change your answer?
Oh.
Like the same as like last year's lines, and they all
right
had
now?
the same. Wait,
So
Caleb
right
and Sam
now,
Darnold
those
have the
4
same-
quarterbacks have the same over/under passing.
So here's the takeaway. The
Oh,
takeaway is that FanDuel is not customizing it for every quarterback. They're kind of tiering it. So if you are like high end,
these props, there must be crazy low betting limits on these props. Then, that's interesting. Well, because Sam Darnold has been a pretty prolific passer, and I assume that we're going to say that Caleb Williams is going to pass for more than, what was it, 3,580 last year, something like that. I think that bettors would assume he passes for more than that. I don't think that changes my answer from 3,650 or 3,649.5.
And Inman had 3,675.
Yeah.
You said, yeah. So the answer, and Arif, your initial thought was almost spot on. 3,500.5 is the number.
I should just go with my gut.
0.5. Now, I was initially offended by this number. I was like, are you kidding me? I was offended. 200 yards.
Like, leave the
game?
country offended.
Like, I'm gonna get out of here.
Sam is emigrating.
2 weeks, whether I have a real ID or not.
3,500 is like league average, Sam. Why would that offend you?
Because if you look at the passing numbers of Kevin O'Connell quarterbacks the last 3 years, Sam Darnold had 4,300. Kirk Cousins had 4,500 and then was on pace for like 4,800 the following year. Now, I know that it's because J.J. McCarthy's unproven. But it has to just be factoring in injury. Like, in a 17-game season,
I thought about factoring that in, and I didn't, and maybe that's part of it too. That's a good point. But I think with like Luke's point that he has the exact same over/under as 3 other quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't think this is thought through.
Yeah, I think they just picked the quarterback line, which
I
pointed out, was
there is no
average.
There is no 2024 draft class quarterback with a higher line. Bo Nix is lower, Drake May is lower, Penix is lower, which Penix hasn't proven much either, and he seems to be getting more punished than this. So I think the Kevin O'Connell of it is factoring in, and that's just landing it at the same place that it's landing for Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, I guess it does make sense that the lines are perceptually a little bit low, especially because we've gotten pretty used to like the high volume passing offenses under O'Connell. So to us, something under 3,900 is like, hey, hold on. But injury is a good point too.
To your guys' point too, the KOC factor, Sam, you called it out. Kirk for 2 years, what Sam Darnold did. If I told you Sam Howell played all 17 games, would you take the over?
Wait, the over on just team passing?
No, on what it is. What is it? 35? You called it
35. Sam Howell over under 3,500 if you played all 17.
I would take the under.
You're probably trailing a lot though. You might be attempting more passes. With
the point
Sam
is,
Howell.
like, you have to think about it a little bit. You're actually
passes.
thinking
I don't think go very far. That's why you're trailing, right? Like, I get your point that game script drives passing volume, and typically that's quite true. I just don't have the faith I have in Sam Howell that I did for Sam Darnold, which seems weird to say out loud.
I would love to go back and see what Nick Mullins was on pace for if he would have started 17 games. Obviously, each game to game, week to week is different. You're not going to be in a shootout with the Lions at home in a dome every week, but I would just be curious to see what that looks like.
How many
to your guys'
complete
point,
games-
the KOC factor. Yeah,
Mullins played 3 or started 3 games. It was the Bengals. It was
which was a
Lions
high-scoring game. Lions,
to end the year. I'm not giving him anything for the Raiders fourth quarter.
Yeah, the Raiders fourth quarter. Didn't he have like 18 passing yards? I don't know.
See, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna get this here. So it was.
I'm just curious.
Oh, Detroit, the first Detroit game, and then
Okay.
part of the Green Bay game because he
that's
came
right.
in for Jaron Hall. So it's a weird. It's like
It's
It's like a 13 quarter kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to get out your ratio calculator, it was 1,300 yards in almost 4 games. Multiply that by 4. That's a 5,000-yard season.
See,
There you go. There you go.
So,
Bo Nix got 3,700 last year. His line is 500 yards below that. That's kind of crazy.
Dang.
wow.
But if you want kind of a proxy for like pretty conservative offense with the occasional like run around explosive,
Right.
it'd be like that, but with like 20 more interceptions with Sam Howell.
my big takeaway though from the offseason betting markets are that the Vikings are just wildly like underrated, and I think it's a huge liability on the books right now. If the Vikings quarterback is even remotely adequate, they're going to probably crush their win total over. He's going to crush his yardage over. Get this line on Vikings to miss the playoffs. -180.
Whoa.
They are lumped in with
Wow.
the Jaguars, Colts, the Bears, Falcons, and Cardinals to miss the playoffs. Favored to miss the playoffs.
Plus 148 to make the playoffs.
Do we think that the books are optimistic about kind of the third tier of NFC teams? Like, so obviously, in the NFC East, it's going to be the Eagles and Washington, right?
Mhm.
But like outside of that, like, are they that optimistic about? Like, I don't think they will assume an NFC South team is gonna make it outside the winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really curious about that because I don't know that the
Yeah.
NFC competition is really up to snuff because it didn't improve substantially over last year, aside from like the addition of Jaden Daniels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that they're more bullish on the Bears than they were. Maybe a bit on the Falcons because of what we saw from Penix.
I have a hard time believing that one.
The book is more bullish on the Falcons, plus 138 to make the playoffs instead of plus 148.
Oh, I mean, it could be the conference that they're in, right? That might.
Yeah, that's the NFC
Cheap
South
wins.
too.
Yeah.
Like who else is winning the NFC South?
Yeah.
I guess Tampa is probably like far and away the favorite, right?
Yeah, I assume it's
minus
Tampa
140.
with Baker. Maybe people really like those last 6 or so games for Bryce Young. The Carolina I don't know. That one still seems like a stretch, actually, that I say it out loud.
The West has always been intriguing as well. San Fran has been like the go-to, preseason betting wise for so many years.
They
But
seem
now
like
I
a
feel
smoking
like
hitter
it's
now. Actually,
a
I
step
do want
back
to
for
know,
them.
Luke, what are the odds for San Francisco? That place seems like
It's like win-loss even, or to win the
minus
division.
178 to make the playoffs.
Okay, so they didn't buy any of the offseason stuff we've been talking about with that team.
How
That's
about to
so
win that
curious.
division?
Win total is 10.5.
Yeah, I'm smashing the under on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so is everybody. It's at minus 135.
Perfect.
Which is the thing about the Vikings over under, by the way, Sam, to your point, over 8.5 is minus 120.
Okay.
And
So
under
people are
8.5 is
pushing
plus
that one.
100. So people have been hammering that over.
Yeah,
pretty
and
hard.
we went over this too. Like the Vikings were the only team getting action on their over in the NFC North. All the other NFC North teams were getting
That
the under
tracks.
smashed.
That makes sense to me.
Oh, we're going to get ref jobbed real hard then, huh?
Yeah.
Because all the money's on the Vikings to win games. So they're going to have to.
Yeah. And
they're
so
gonna have to, the calls are going to be made.
a FanDuel is going to be sending in some. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They're going to Buffalo Wild Wings some stuff. Yeah.
Yep.
press the
Inman
button
knows.
under the table.
Yeah.
Get ready for
that
Chandler
was your
Sullivan
job
to
at B-Dubs, right?
return
Like you
touchdowns.
Literally,
pressing the
I
buttons
can, and it's great now because I can put that on my resume now too, moving forward.
I started the
certified.
sprinkler system in the Bills game. Yeah, no, for sure.
No, you're doing it wrong, dude. It's
Couple other lines that caught my eye, not Vikings related. They have a bet on the Browns week 1 quarterback. Do you want to guess the order in which?
Oh,
okay. Let
Oh.
me.
Flacco.
Okay,
I just looked
One.
at that.
Yeah, I would say
has to be
Flacco.
one. And then
Man, this is dark.
is
yeah.
it is
It's
Winston
immediately
still on
really sad.
No, Winston's on the Giants, right?
the- okay?
So who's
Great.
the 5? Who's the 5? It's Flacco, the 2
It's
rookies,
Flacco,
Gabriel and Shador.
Kenny Pickett,
Pickett.
and then
Kenny
the 2
Pickett.
rookies.
Okay, so I think Kenny
Okay,
Pickett's
there's
2. This one's. I'm gonna go with Dylan Gabriel 3. I don't.
I
think
would
that's
put
what's gonna
Shador
happen,
3. I would
but
put
as a,
Shador
well,
3.
in terms of what the betting market is predicting, I'm gonna say it's Dylan. I would personally put Shador 2 But then
Okay,
Shador
that's fair.
4 in the betting market, and then Deshaun Watson, if he's even on this list, 5.
He's not on the list. That's probably good on FanDuel's part because I don't think he's going to be available. Flacco number 1, correct, plus 116. Pickett plus 220. Shador plus 370. Dylan Gabriel, long shot, plus 830.
Wow,
That's interesting. They didn't
double
they
what
didn't,
Shador is. Wow,
They didn't index on the draft slot. That's so curious. Bettors typically like defer a lot to draft slot.
There must be like a lot of Mel Kiper enjoyers hitting those lines.
Yeah. Yeah, I keep on saying like bettors in books, and like that assumes that sharps are pushing money to change the lines to be more efficient, and that's never really true with these kinds of props. I got to be careful about that. Like,
sometimes FanDuel is a hype measure as much as it is like a future.
Yes.
Like it's just a measure of where the public eye is. And the public eye is going to be way more in on Shador Sanders. There is just a large
not enough to put him over KD Pickett.
Okay, well, you got to walk before you can run.
Give me Sam. Give me the Super Bowl. Is it the Big Four? I'm assuming the
Super
AFC,
Bowl.
NFC championship teams, those Big Four, and then maybe Lions. I guess I don't know.
So I'll tell you the Vikings are way down the list, but I've got it. It's Eagles plus 650 favorite, Ravens plus 700, Bills plus 750, Chiefs plus 750, Lions plus 950, and then a big drop off to Washington, Rams, Bengals, Packers.
Wow. Okay.
I'll take Washington over the Lions. I'm a perpetual skeptic of this team, so I'll take Washington.
How about one more from you? How about like rookies of the year, defense, offense?
Travis Hunter for both. There's got to be a prop that he.
There
right?
absolutely has to be.
There's a bunch of Travis Hunter props. The favorite for rookie of the year is Ashton Jeanty at plus 270. Cam Ward plus 380.
And then defensive rookie of the year aside from Hunter's probably Carter, right? Like there's no question.
Yep, Abdul Carter plus 250. Jalen Walker plus 700. And then Travis Hunter plus 1,000.
Jalen Walker.
Fun fact.
But that's for offensive rookie of the year.
Okay.
To my knowledge, NFL is the only of the Big Four that does not qualify players that miss their rookie year for the rookie of the year in their second season. Does that make sense? Like,
but like
make JJ McCarthy ineligible.
Both the MLB and NHL have like minor leagues, right? Like that's an important part of it.
But they have thresholds. So in the NBA, Chet Holmgren, right, injured his whole year. He was eligible last year.
And won it, right?
In baseball.
Did he win it?
September, I think he did. No. Victor
Wemby?
Wembanyama.
Yeah, I was like, no way did he win it over Wemby.
Yeah.
Oh, I found it. Travis Hunter to win offensive and defensive rookie of the year plus 7,500.
Wow.
Yeah, I would take those odds.
Yeah. You're burning money. You're just like you're
a donation
for tossing it in a bonfire.
Well, there's really not much not strong competition for defense outside of Carter, right? Then there's a big drop off to walk. That feels wide open. Offense would be your tough one with Genty and Cam Ward.
I'll take it. Jaguars are weird. I'll take it.
Last one for me, JJ McCarthy to throw for 4,000 yards or more, plus 260, 4,500 yards or more, plus 1,200.
If it was plus 300 or more, I think I would take the over 4,000. 260 is not enough.
Yeah. What's the TDs?
Don't have it yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm guessing it's like 25 or something.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the only rushing props available are Saquon Barkley and Ashton Genty. That's it.
All right.
Receiving props.
Nobody
Devontae
cares about
Adams,
running backs anymore. It's tragic.
Ted McMillan strangely has one, and Travis Hunter. You want to guess Hunter's receiving over under?
750.
I was just going to say something in the sevens.
Dang, that is good, Arif. 725.
Wow.
We're going to pause and then return with our Rankum segment, our most valuable Vikings on defense. Tough exercise. That's next. We are brought to you today by Upwork. Scaling your business requires the right expertise at the right time. With Upwork, you can find specialized freelancers in marketing, development, design, and more. Experts ready to help you take your business to the next level. Upwork gives businesses flexibility by connecting them with top freelance talent across multiple industries, including IT, AI, web development, marketing. Whether you need extra hands for a project or a long-term partner, Upwork makes hiring simple and affordable. You can post your job for free. It's very easy, and within a day, get multiple qualified candidates to choose from. Visit Upwork.com right now. Post your job for free. That's Upwork, UPWORK.com. Upwork.com to connect with top talent and grow your business today. All right, time for the world famous Rankum.
This is Minnesota Sports Rankum, part of Locked On Sports Minnesota, and it starts now.
Poor job by the producer here. I did not specify in the notes. Or no, I did. 5 most valuable. Okay, I'm sorry. I did. 5 most valuable Vikings on the defensive side of the ball, ranked 5 through 1. Good luck with this. I mean, this is about as tough as it gets, I think, to try to make this somewhat quantifiable. But let's let Inman take a stab at it. Give us your number 5. Let's just start with 5 and then go around.
I got Van Ginkel 5, premium position,
Yo,
pass
me too.
rusher, but he's so much more than that. I think he's only number 5 for me because when you say most valuable, I ask myself, okay, what does it look like with him off the field? What's the drop off? And the fact that they have Dallas Turner waiting in the wings, even though there is that's a significant drop off. We just don't know what Dallas Turner is going to look like full time over a 17-game stretch. I don't think the drop off is as much as some of the other positions and guys that I have a little bit higher on the list. So Van Ginkel, number 5 for me.
Mm-hmm. Braun?
I had him 4, but Luke actually persuaded me to drop him to 5 as well.
Wow. All right.
Yeah. The idea of because there's more depth at edge than there is at like basically any other position.
Any other, yeah. No, I had him as 5 too. I'm very proud of myself. I actually did pre-show work, despite this being one of the latest emails Sam has ever sent before the show. So,
Maybe that's the key.
yeah, that's the only way I'm going to do it.
You
Yeah,
send it too early. It's like I'll deal with that later.
Yeah, it gets buried in every correspondence Arif receives between the hours of 1 and 4 a.m.
Well, you'd be shocked.
No, I would not.
I have Harry the Hitman, number 5.
Interesting. He
I
was a tough one for me.
Yeah, he is. He is a really tough one. Probably like on the lower end of positional value on defense, but he's like a Hall of Fame player and still does a lot of things well. I don't know. I don't know what to make of Harrison Smith. He's awesome. He's the best, but he's not. But I still don't feel like he's the most important on the defense. Number 5 felt right. He had to be in there. Just toward the bottom.
My ranking on him diverges from yours quite significantly, but I also agree that he had to be somewhere on the 5. But I could have justified essentially any spot for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why safety is not seen as a premium position. That has never made sense to me.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
It's like deep coverage. It's like explosive passes matter and they help in the run. Like they're involved in every play. You get very little of the corner that just gets run off and kind of jogs through a run rep. Like it's
because they're not
like
on an
I don't know
island.
why that reputation exists.
Well, yeah. So I think part of it is what Sam just said, is that they're not really on an island, and then I think the second part is there's multiple ways to cut off a deep pass, and one of them is through passing pressure, and that typically has just been valued more by NFL minds, just getting closer to the ball, right? So I think that's it. But analytically, I guess it depends on who's doing the analytics, because I've seen multiple valuations. But if we're using PFF wins above replacement as one proxy for it, safety is one of the more valuable positions.
Correct. Yeah, elite safeties have very high WAR relative to other positions. So Inman, number 4.
Josh Metellus, again, just kind of thinking about value. Not much more value a guy can bring, being able to line up in almost any and every position on the field. Deep safety in the box. He's in the slot playing man-to-man. He's coming off the edge. He's in the A gap. He's just that ultimate versatile chess piece for Brian Flores. And again, I think that screams value when you think about the Vikings defense.
Yeah, I did the same. I had him at number 4 as well.
Dude, we're on the same page today.
Yeah. Simpatico, right? Yeah, I think Inman's previous point about depth with Van Ginkel is relevant here. You know, I don't know if the Vikings are going to continue doing 3 safety. I mean, based off of like the setup of their roster, that I think makes the most sense. But if they do 3 safety for a good chunk of what they want to do, then there's virtually just no depth at all. And so that improves his ranking. And just because of that, I was thinking about making him number 3, but yeah, I mean, he does everything, and it's kind of like, you know, like a cog in the middle of the machine. Like, it's not like the flashiest part or whatever of the defense, but like it really gums up the works if he's not there.
Braun, who got elevated when you moved Van Ginkel down?
Yeah.
Blake Cashman. For that depth reason, if Blake Cashman goes down, it's we saw last year, right? Like the Vikings super struggle. They tried like 3 different things. They were floundering without him. You know, I see like linchpin in the middle of the defense, kind of the kind of thing you always say about like a Mike linebacker. But the impact that he has on both the run and the pass is really easy to pick out.
Mm-hmm.
So I put him there.
Honorable mention for me. I love my LB wins stat. And what was his record last year? Like,
well, he did end up losing 1 game, right?
Well, yeah. He ended up losing at the end, but yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But he was undefeated for a while. And that matters. That was part of my analytical reasoning process.
There you go.
Yeah, I went Grenard at 4. I put Grenard, and I don't know. I don't know if that's an insult to Grenard or, again,
I don't know that any of these are insults, but yeah.
I will see where you guys have him. I've got him 4. I mean, he's not only an excellent pass rusher, that's clear. He impressed me against the run so much consistently last year, and that's such a valuable trait. And I felt like their collective strength on the edges against the run is why their run defense was so good last year. So I'm going Harrison 5, Grenard 4, Inman. Who's your number 3?
I got Murphy. Again, because of the depth thing. I mean, first of all, it's so important to have that a guy you feel like, hey, this is our clear-cut number 1 corner. You can trust one-on-one, leave him on an island sometimes. I know he's never discussed as like an elite cornerback, but he made so many big plays for them last year. 6 picks, 6 tackles for loss. He's just as important in the run game as well. And then when you think about what it looks like without him, yes, I'm excited to see what Isaiah Rodgers brings to the table, what he looks like in the system, but the drop off from Murphy to the next 2, 3, 4 guys still feels pretty massive right now on paper, until we see it anyways, until we see what it all looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I left Murphy off, but I think the depth point is a really good one. That one is a really difficult one for me to leave off.
He's not necessarily like, you know, the most talented. I mean, this is tough no matter what.
Yeah, it's really difficult. And the only reason I left Murphy off is because I didn't feel right putting any cornerbacks on this list, given the way the defense is structured, right? Yeah. But I think he'd be my 6, and I'm sure if I did this on another day, Murphy would make my 5. It's just kind of what captured the mood for me. No, I went with Blake Cashman, number 3. He's an outstanding linebacker, and I think, you know, probably at this point, one of the more underrated linebackers in the league, just given the sheer level of talent that he demonstrated. Like, you know, Braun mentioned, I think, you know, his capacity in both the run and the pass, as well as like occasionally as a pass rusher. I think that was really important. Obviously, we had the opportunity to see what it would look like without him on the field in a way we didn't for a lot of these other guys that we're talking about. And so I don't want to like over-index to that one too much. Like maybe these other guys were as important, but we didn't really get to see their absence. But I think that he plays a really important role. And I feel like I actually was going to rate him higher, but then I was like, well, linebackers. So, so I put him at 3, but he is quite a good linebacker. So
this is where I have Harrison Smith at number 3. He is still, even at his age, which is why he's not, you know, he was probably 1 on this kind of exercise for years and years, right?
Yeah.
But he's still a guy that quarterbacks are like, you got to find where 22 is. You always got to know where 22 is. He still has that impact on the mind of the opponent, which wherever you are on the field, whatever position you are listed at, that's always going to make you a key cog in the defense. If he ends up missing a game because he twists an ankle or whatever, whoever is playing the Vikings that week will still breathe a sigh of relief, even if it's just based on reputation. But it's not. He can still make those plays. He still is like, the coolest thing he does is that he like just doesn't drop deep for like anything anymore. He just plays it like an insane person and doesn't give anyone any cushion because he always knows what's coming. It rules super hard.
It's like it's very Troy Polamalu, and I don't think that is a huge exaggeration just in terms of his play style.
No, and I think he has a as strong a Hall of Fame case.
Harrison, again, was my 5th. Grenard was my 4th. Metellus is my number 3 for the reasons laid out. Super versatile. No one like him. Does a little bit of everything. He's undefinable. I don't know what position he plays because he plays all of them. And he's a culture guy.
For franchise tag purposes, he plays safety, Sam.
The team insists that he plays safety. But that's my number 3. Inman laid out a lot of good points about Metellus, and I want your number 2 now. And remind us who your 5, 4, 3 were as well, Inman.
Yeah, 5, I've got Van Gink. 4, Josh Metellus. 3, Byron Murphy. 2, Blake Cashman. For all the reasons you guys are. It's so hard for me to shake what happened versus the Lions and Rams when he was out in the middle of the year. The lack of communication we talked about all week after both those games, just having that kind of coach on the field, communicating the play or the call quickly, being able to adjust everything on the fly. It was just so obvious they were missing that guy in the middle of their defense. And we all love Ivan Pace, but until he proves he can be that guy, the things Cashman brings to the table from a football IQ, the awareness lens, it was just so huge last year. It really felt kind of black and white, the difference it made when he was healthy and on the field versus when he was off it. Plus, he's good, not just in run support, pass coverage as well. He's kind of the total package. Agree with Arif. I get it. It's linebacker, but huge impact when he was on the field.
Cashman, number 2. Arif.
Yeah, so my number 5, the Gink was there. Number 4 is Josh Metellus. 3, Blake Cashman. 2, this one was tough, and I think if I did it again, maybe I'd make him number 1. But well, Jonathan Grenard. I think that we take a look at all these other players' versatility, like, Metellus and Cashman and Pace and especially Van Ginkel. And like, that's important. That's how the defense is designed. But I think the fact that Grenard is so good at his job enables everyone else to do all of these other things. Like, I don't think without that kind of pivot there, without that kind of like strong edge setter, without having Grenard being able to perform his role as well as he does, it would be really difficult for other people to freelance in the case of Harrison Smith or move around as much as the defense kind of asks them of some of these other people. And so I think he kind of enables the versatility that a lot of other players have. And I think, the pressures he's produced are part of the reason that, Shaq Griffin and Stephon Gilmore did as well as they did last year. So I'm going to put Grenard number 2. I think that makes it clear what my number 1 is, but we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, so 5 for me was Van Ginkel. I had Cashman 4. I had Harrison Smith 3. And my 2 is going to be Byron Murphy. I think back to who am I most scared of losing on this team? Like, if he goes down, are the Vikings most screwed? And my brain conjured the phrase Isaiah Rodgers CB1, and I went, oh no, that can't happen. It's like the secondary is already in a bad way, and Byron Murphy's kind of the only truly trustworthy player on it that has like earned that spot and earned the contract that he just signed. I feel like without Byron Murphy, you're a cover 2 defense. It's all you can do. Like, last year with Gilmore and Shaq Griffin, you could play cover 3. They could play their deep third. They could do their thing. I don't like that on the outside right now with what we have outside of Byron Murphy. Being able to play inside and outside, which allows you to approach the offseason a different way than if he was only an inside guy or only an outside guy. Even though they prefer to play him inside, the fact that they don't have to, and they can consider, hey, we can get another corner that is maybe an inside guy if we wanted to, like that fact that that's an option. So he's big for me, which makes also, I think, my number 1 pretty obvious. But.
Nice. I'm going to go with Gink number 2. So I've got Grenard 4. I've got Gink 2, just because of how, again, versatile. I think I gave the nod to versatility in my rankings. Van Ginkel is another player that does things you don't often see at the position, which is a function of a Brian Flores defense. He goes for versatility. He looks for guys that can be atypical. They can be outliers in some way. Not only does Van Ginkel score like the ball, he scores touchdowns. He snuffs out really an entire page of an opponent's playbook because of his threat in that regard. Here's a good stat. Andrew Van Ginkel led the league last year in pass play stops with 25. Number 2 was Grenard, by the way, with 21. And then number 3 had 17. That was Byron Young. He's just doing things at a different level in pass coverage than any other edge rusher in football. So Gink, number 2 for me. We will reveal our number 1 most valuable Vikings on defense after this very quick pause.
Excellent.
And we get right to Luke Inman to give us his number 1.
I got Grenard. I know I said Van Ginkel's at 5 because you got Dallas Turner, but I just feel like the difference between good edge rushers in this league and elite edge rushers just impacts the game in a way that only a couple other positions can. When you think about how much an elite edge rusher helps everybody else around him, I think Arif, you just mentioned, how much those guys kind of helped guys like Shaq Griffin and guys in the secondary. The numbers, the production he put up last year exceeded everybody's expectations. It felt like, I know we all got a soft spot for Danielle Hunter in our hearts, but like he made that transition so smooth, like smooth as humanly possible, ended up as one of the top 5 edge rushers when it comes to, quarterback pressures, the hurries, run support, all that stuff. So Grenard, number 1, really, really, again, exceeded all my expectations last year and more. I was really impressed.
That makes sense. I went with Harry, number 1. I was thinking about this because I was like, am I doing this because it's like a legacy pick? Am I overly nostalgic for like 2017 or whatever? And maybe, but I do think he deserves to be in the top 3. So, I figured why not? And I think that the argument here is, you were talking about like the importance of communication when it came to Blake Cashman. And I think that that's even more important when it comes to Harrison Smith. Like, I think Luke Braun's point about like how opponents like kind of index themselves to where Harry is on the field, I think that's important and good. But I think also like the Vikings defense requires a really high degree of communication because of how much it'll change after a motion or a shift or something like that. Like, one of the goals of the Vikings defense is to not get caught on a shift or a motion, because it used to be the case that if you had a complex defense, teams would motion or shift or kill the play and get you into your base defense. And there were only like 3 or 4 calls within that base defense, and they could predict what that was. And I think that's one of the things that kind of killed Mike Zimmer against some of these smarter teams. And one of the goals of this defense is to avoid that happening. And one of the key people in preventing that from happening is Harrison Smith. I think that they can maintain the complexity of their defense in response to a lot of these offensive pressures that a lot of other teams aren't capable of because of how intelligent and capable Harrison Smith is. And on top of that, how well he communicates the things that need to be communicated along that defense are. So to me, that's number 1. But I on a different day, I might have put Grenard number 1. That it was a tough.
It's tough.
Yeah, Grenard is number 1 for me, for a lot of the reasons Luke said, but also like the way the Vikings pass rush is structured. It is most often structured to give Jonathan Grenard the opportunity. He's the one with the two-way go. He's the one they're trying to set up one-on-ones for. He is the one that they're trying to get on an island with an overmatched tackle to go win, and it worked. The production speaks for itself. So while Van Ginkel's versatility, like I get it with Van Ginkel's versatility and with all the versatility players, right? Like I don't have Metellus on mine, honorable mention for me, but you could pretty easily talk me into putting him 4th or 5th. But it's that things on that front are shaped around Jonathan Grenard. They are not shaped around Harrison Phillips or Andrew Van Ginkel or Blake Cashman. Those guys are all doing the job that they are doing because Jonathan Grenard needs to get the opportunity. So to me, if you took Jonathan Grenard out of that equation, the defense would not only have to replace him with Dallas Turner or Tyrion Ingram Dawkins or whoever you would put in, but you would also change the actual defensive strategy. And I'm not sure anybody else can claim that. I think everybody else you would put in a backup 1-for-1. You would still have him do a job to spring free Jonathan Grenard.
Mm-hmm.
2 Grenards and a Harrison Smith from you guys. I defaulted to Byron Murphy as my number 1 for the same reasons you guys had him in your top 5s, just more extreme, because the Vikings would be the most screwed as they stand today without him. Same nightmare as Luke Braun, Isaiah Rodgers, CB1. Please wake me up from that nightmare. And I think the trickle-down effect is even more alarming, because then you're talking about who is your CB3. I mean, is it Okudah?
Okudah. They're promoting him from the practice squad.
It's Asante Samuel to be named later. Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah.
Two notes from the chat during this discussion. Metellus, will he be playing more safety or staying in the slot hybrid role? I think if you put him at safety, I think you're neutralizing his superpower. I think you keep him in the hybrid role. Would you guys?
He's probably doing a lot of that. You're also a fool to put a name on it. He's going to do whatever.
Yeah. But the thing that came to mind is buying a Ferrari to do grocery runs. That'll work, right? But don't do that
on the line of scrimmage, which he can do. He can do at safety, and I'm sure he will line up deep plenty. I think in base packages, I'm guessing he's not coming off the field as Theo. In those packages, he's probably playing back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when they run too high, right? But a lot of those
in base and too high, which a little weird,
right?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm Sam. I'm thinking back now that you mentioned wake me up from that nightmare. Some of the worst cornerback rooms that we've watched as we grew up. Chris Cook, Asher Allen, and Marcus McCauley comes to mind.
AJ Jefferson.
AJ Jefferson. Wow,
man.
Monster Island / Cook Island. Did he actually settle on a nickname before he got cut?
Right. That's right.
Before he got cut.
One good game against Megatron.
Yeah. He lived off of that for a while.
From Chris surprised no one said Jonathan Allen or Hargrave. And what would one of those guys have to do to make a top 5?
Probably play 800 snaps, which I think would be kind of difficult to do given their setup. And then maybe 800 is too high a bar, but play a lot of snaps. And then on top of that, demonstrate that they've got the capability to play both elements of the game, both pass rush and run stopping. And with Hargrave, I'm not that confident about that. And with Allen, I'm not confident he plays 750 snaps. So it's just tough. Again, the way the defense is constructed, there are a lot of ways to assign value to a lot of these players. So I don't want this to be seen as a knock on any of those two, but I just don't see them as important as, my honorable mention, Byron Murphy, or my number 3, Blake Cashman,
Chris Jones, 2020 alum, just picked off Luis Perez this weekend in the UFL.
Hey,
let's go.
Making plays with Nate Metters in that secondary.
Nate
Metters.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wow. Quick Minnesota Timberwolves crossover before we get into name drop. Draymond Green and Jimmy Butler are coming to Target Center tomorrow, and it's going to be vociferous. It's going to be loud. There's a lot of vitriol.
Yeah.
A lot of vitriol. Arguably the 2 most hated Timberwolves opponents in the league right now.
Sure.
Vikings-wise, who would that be in the league now or all time?
Individual players.
Individuals to cheer
right
against.
now.
All time has to be Drew Pearson. Drew Pearson can't set foot in the state of Minnesota.
Yeah. Well, Drew Pearson, but I think that we're losing recipes. I think a lot of people have lost their pure vitriol because they never had it, right? They just weren't old enough to remember, and it's difficult.
Well,
he does remind me.
I remember when he came on to announce a Dallas Cowboys draft pick a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And every soul in Minnesota felt a chill down their spine.
Yeah, my Twitter blew up. Certainly that's up there. I would say Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers are up there. Drew Brees is up there.
How about Sean Payton?
Sean Payton.
Yeah, he's not a player, but for sure,
Greg Williams.
Yeah. Sean Payton still gets the hate. Aaron Rodgers still gets the hate from a lot of people who just don't care who they play for. They just hate that guy specifically,
which I respect.
Yeah.
But like
I got Kirby Joseph on my list.
I was going to say Kirby Joseph was kind of the
because
sneaky...
you got the Hawkinson hit, and then also he just talks so much smack every time out there with JJ, and he's just like the ideal guy you just want to see JJ or Addison or anybody just burn every time we play the
I think of the current players, I would have picked Rodgers and assuming Rodgers plays, Rodgers and Kirby Joseph were like the two I was going to pick. But yeah, I don't know that there's a ton of players out there.
There's not a ton of players. No. You kind of got to dig a little deep.
James's Jair suggestion is good.
Yeah, okay.
That's really good.
He's been living off of one good rep he had 3 years ago, and then he's been ducking Justin Jefferson ever since.
Yep, that one's good. I got I got one non-NFC North guy that we don't hate, but like Jared Verse might be moving up the chart. He didn't play dirty. He's just a Viking killer. Like the 2 games he played, he was only a rookie, sent them home packing last year in the playoffs. That's always going to leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth. Plus, not to mention the fact the Vikings traded up, used all those picks to draft an edge, passed up on Jared Verse, and then just watching the impact he had.
I think that one will fade a little bit because I remember like Vikings fans were a little bit salty about Justin Herbert, and that one faded pretty quickly, right? Because Herbert like beat out.
Yeah, if Dallas Turner comes out and is just even like a B+ player, like we're fine.
I still think Kyle Hamilton takes that spot in everyone's brains of like the what could have been draft guy. Yeah. Where does Stephon Diggs land on this?
That's a complicated one, I think.
Yeah, it's complicated because he never Jimmy Butler. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Jimmy Butler had like things to say about Minnesota. He was not kind on his exit.
Correct.
Stephon Diggs was nothing but gracious. Like the internal, the rumor, there was distrust between him and Zimmer or whatever, but he never came out publicly and said screw those guys. He was like, love my time in Minnesota, happy to be where I am now, but grateful for he always said the right things.
And also, Jimmy Butler didn't have a Minneapolis Miracle moment. I think that gives Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, Jimmy Butler was only here for a year.
Jimmy Butler lost in 5 in the first round.
It would be like if Bashaud Breeland continued to like play for teams and then like became a household name corner. And then we had to be like, hey, remember that one time he like got in a fight here and got cut?
Jimmy Butler's like such an interesting perceptual case study because I have a friend who's like a Miami Heat fan who loves Jimmy Butler. And I was like, man, he's going to force his way out. You're going to hate it. And he's like, I don't care. That Heat team shouldn't have made it that far. Jimmy Butler was the key to it. And then like at the end, he did kind of hate Jimmy Butler for all of the stuff that happened. I was like, hey, guy.
You don't want a long-term relationship with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
You got to
kind of like Stephon Diggs, but casual. Instead of that being a metaphor.
He's like the league's Stephon Diggs, but he's not our Stephon Diggs.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it. So
a lot of people don't like Michael Thomas, but he doesn't play anymore. So
I think of Michael Thomas.
He was fun to root against.
There's a lot of players who have like talked smack here or there at one point. I remember the one Eagles guy that talked a whole bunch of crap before a game in 2019 and then got cut after it because Kirk Cousins diced him up.
Ooh. Oh yeah,
remember Zach Brown?
Yeah, something like that.
The old NFC North linebackers that you just hated to face,
like
Urlacher? Love to beat Urlacher, Matthews,
or not a linebacker, but Akeem Hicks.
Jay Cutler.
Akeem Hicks. That's a good one.
Yeah, Kenny Clark still kind of has that.
Vikings killer, Alshon Jeffrey.
Yeah. I remember Amir Abdullah being a low-key Viking killer before he joined the Vikings.
Mm-hmm.
Back when he was on the line.
Oh, and Golden Tate, right?
Golden Tate.
Oh, Golden Tate.
Yeah. Golden Tate. Jumps into the
I think if Amon-Ra St. Brown had more signature moments, which is not to say he doesn't dice the Vikings up. He does a pretty good job. But if he had more like signature moments, it would it'd be very
like
easy
daggers,
to place him on this
like a couple kill shots.
Yeah, and
he needs his Penei Sewell dive and catch.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. And I don't think we're necessarily far from that. He certainly has the capability to do that. But for a non-Lions fan, he's very hateable. And so I think that he's a prime candidate to be promoted on this list. Not because he's a bad person, but just there's some people who carry confidence in a way that you respect, and some people who carry confidence in a way that just rubs you the wrong way. You can't really figure out why or how. And he's kind of that. It's like he's not doing anything wrong, but like
a Treadwell vibe. Like, what's going on, dude? I want to root for you. But like,
it's super easy to disrespect a podcaster.
Oh, how about Brian Robinson? Oh, that guy was so mean, dude. Nicest guy in the world. He was taking videos of dudes in the locker room though. That was kind of,
Yeah, that was kind of. And then the Vikings posted them. That was so weird.
The worldwide sensation of name drop returns next. Very quick pause.
Game time.
How fast can you think? It's time for the most chaotic game in the Viking podcast sphere. It's Name Drop.
I'm so bad at this, man.
Gotta love name drop in the offseason. Last time we did Vikings touchdown scorers from a given season. Today, the prompt is Vikings who recorded a sack in a given season.
Oh boy.
I will give the season. There are 5 rounds. Go around the circle. You have to name a Viking who qualifies. If you miss, you're out for the round. If you guess wrong, or if you don't have an answer in 5 seconds, you're out for the round. We'll start with, we'll just say Luke Braun. We'll start with him, and then we'll alternate who starts. We'll start more recent and then get more distant as the game goes. Everybody
Gotta turn
understands
chat
the
off here.
rules.
I'm no cheater.
Turn off chat. No cheating whatsoever. That's not accepted. 2021 is your first year. I'll give you a couple seconds to get your bearings. 2021, last year of the Zimmer era. Ready, set, name drop.
DJ Wanham.
Correct?
Oh God. I
know.
Oh God. Oh, I'm already flaming out. Oh God. Deshaun Bauer. No, that's not right.
Are you
Wow.
kidding me?
No, you're making me
Wow.
panic because I was going to say Everson, like Everson's obvious, but I'll go Patrick Jones. 'Cause now I can't remember if Everson's on the team or not.
Yeah,
Patrick
No.
Jones was a rookie. I don't know if he got a sack. Really? Daniil Hunter?
Oh,
Right.
F.
Right.
Yeah. Ron gets it. That was supposed to be the easiest round.
Jones
Whoa.
didn't get
Right.
one sack.
You're
his
right.
rookie
Yeah,
year?
He was a
Come on,
rookie. I
man.
don't think he got in all that much. It would have been what, like Daniil Hunter? I forget who was on the. Was Jaleel Johnson still on the team?
Probably.
No way. Was he?
James Lynch.
So
James Lynch?
James Lynch
Pat-
recorded a
Patrick
sack.
Jones played in 9 games, had 7 tackles, no sacks.
Okay.
Tayshaun Bauer played in 4 games, had 1 tackle, no sacks. Here are the
Who's to say
many
that tackle
others
was-
you could
Wait,
have
I think
Jordan
Jones had one.
Brailford.
It was a
Yeah,
stack correction.
oh,
It was
Jordan
a stack correction.
Brailford. The waiver.
Or was that 2020?
All right, now let me remind you guys, you don't need to just go with edge rushers. You can go with safeties or corners. Like
No, we
this is
got it. We're
everybody.
just
Yeah.
not good.
Linebacker. You're getting your
do
feet
the
under
Vikings
you.
have a safety who's pretty good at getting sacks?
Oh.
Yeah.
You could have gone Daniil. You could have gone Kendricks. You could have
I
gone
think-
Everson Griffin. You
Kendricks.
could have gone Harrison.
Okay, so
Smith.
Everson
should've
was
went
on the-
Everson.
That was like-
Everson
that was-
was, yeah. That was the
Okay.
year he came back.
Yeah,
and
but
got,
like,
like,
I didn't know if he
and played
like
with number
recorded the
58.
sack after he came back, or like it was a weird ambiguous zone for Everson. Is the issue for me?
Yeah, agreed.
I almost said unique and
it's a
Ngakwe,
little
but I'm pretty
hazy.
sure it was a
But
year
like
earlier.
obviously,
Last year or two gets hazy with
the probabilistic like reasoning portion of my brain was broken because like there's no way it was more likely that Deshaun Bauer had a sack than whether or not I remember if Everson Griffin was on the team.
Yeah, there's no rarity points here if you get the
Yeah, no,
unlikely
this is-
guys.
yeah.
You just
I
want to
just-
survive until the next round. This is not immaculate grid.
It's not a
If you
family
guess in the
feud.
chat,
That was
Mackenzie
a good
Alexander actually
practice
would
run.
not.
That was a good practice run. All right, now
Oh,
the
good.
game
Let's
is
start.
beginning.
Let's
That's
start.
I
fantastic.
saw Mackenzie Alexander in the chat, and that's what made me turn it off because I was like, "Oh, that's a good answer,r," but I didn't want to steal it,
And-
which
and
was
that
good
would've
because
been
it was
wrong.
wrong.
Would have been
Yeah.
wrong. All right. Go a little further back. 2018. Who got a sack? Arif gets to start.
Everson Griffin. F you.
Correct.
Who's up?
You.
You.
Harry. I feel like you could say Harry for any of these years.
Anthony Barr.
Ah.
Mm.
Yes.
Man, I'm trying to remember when Brian Robinson's crazy press conference was. I don't remember, so I'm going to go with Brian Robinson. No, don't do this to me.
No, that is a
Really? I was gonna say him.
Wow. I was going to say
Really?
Hendricks.
I was going to go with Barr, and then I was like, oh, I can't go
Yeah.
with Barr now. Yeah.
I think that was the year he retired.
Hmm.
Luke said
Braun.
Kendricks, by the way.
So we're on to Inman.
I said
Yeah,
Kendricks.
He said Kendricks.
Kendricks, that is correct.
Linval Joseph.
Oh.
Okay, now I'm thinking D tackles.
Surely he got a sack, right?
Oh, I just thought of.
pause.
No.
We got to pause. I searched Joseph, but then it came up Greg Joseph. So Linval. I don't know. I think.
How do you not know?
No, I think Linval was gone. You guys. I think that's it. I think.
Okay.
2018, no shot. He picked
2018?
He picked off Carson Wentz that year.
2017
Took it to the house.
was a
hold on.
magnificent year. So
Hold on now.
2017 was a
Are you looking
magnificent
at
year.
the
He was
correct
definitely on the
season?
team in 2018. I
Are you
can
No.
looking at the correct season, Sam?
No, I'm not. I was on the wrong year. We got to.
we got to know
Well,
it.
no.
Was-
We're still using our same guesses.
Okay, Linval Joseph does qualify. Now, who did I say? Brian Robinson.
Yeah.
Does Robeson qualify?
Robinson wasn't on the team. Okay. Dang. But that did remind me that we forgot a very obvious one. But now that I'm just gonna wait for you two before I say it.
All right. Sorry about the mix-up. I think we're good. I think it's Inman's turn. And ready, set.
Well, I already said Kendricks. Did you get me saying Kendricks?
We got Kendricks.
Oh,
then the
okay.
next was
Kendricks.
Oh, and then you
Linval.
said Linval, and then
And
I
I said
started thinking about
Linval. Now
defensive
it's back to you.
tackles.
God.
I started thinking about Jaleel Johnson.
That qualifies. Yep.
Wow, he did get a sack, huh?
Khalil got a sack?
Jaleel Johnson. Well, Daniil Hunter just got his contract.
Sack leader.
There's such a good one that y'all are missing.
Who's up? Oh, I
You.
thought you were in.
It's you.
Oh,
No, I got eliminated.
Okay. Afedi?
Ooh,
I'm trying to think of the other safety,
Ooh.
dude. I cannot
that's a good one.
remember who's playing next to Harry right now.
Yeah, me either.
I'm gonna have to buzz that.
Hmm.
You're missing Thunder Bucket.
That was I was either going to say Thunderbucket or Mackenzie Alexander.
Yeah. I'm getting mad as I am screwing up the timeline of every single Viking.
Can't pass the first round. Getting
Yeah.
mad at us in the fifth
Yeah,
round.
hey, what are you guys doing?
What are you doing, man?
Wait, it's good because I could just turn into a chatter as soon as I get eliminated. Then I can just-
Was chat going off?
No, chat's not
No.
mad. It doesn't. Well, one of them.
Oh my God, Sheldon Richardson, of course.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
never would have got that.
So
Who
Braun's
was the
got
safety?
two.
Oh, yeah. Who's the
It was
safety? And
probably
then
Sendejo, right? And then Eric
Sendejo,
Wilson got a
doy.
sack.
Oh,
Didn't Eric
Sendejo.
Wilson get a sack?
how about J-Ron Curse? Now that I'm thinking safety.
Yeah.
Oh,
Curse
Darren
would've
Person.
qualified.
Sendejo. Curse would have. What about
Can you guys just name some dudes for about 20 seconds? I got to go out and come back in. I got.
what about
audio
Weatherly?
issues.
Jalen Holmes.
Weatherly.
Jalen
Jalen
Holmes.
Holmes.
Yeah.
Ohio State. Yeah, he didn't start, but it was
How
just because
about-
it was Ohio State.
Oh,
right?
how about
Right. That's the
who was the linebacker from Michigan? Big boy.
Ben Gideon?
Ben Gideon.
Ben
I think he was.
Getty?
He played like 6 games, and then his brain turned
Yeah,
into
he-
oatmeal.
Toast.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you'd seen his TikTok before he got drafted, his brain was kind of already oatmeal, but for different online reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jalen Holmes. I don't know. Did Holmes even get one?
Perish the thought as to what he's up to now.
Choppy job by
6
the
concussions
host of
in.
this game show so far. We're going to do better going forward. 2012 is your next year. It's 2
Jesus.
points
It's
for
gonna be tough.
Braun. If Braun gets this, he wins.
This is gonna be tough.
Inman goes first. Not division champion. Playoff qualifying team. 2012. Ready? Go.
Harry.
Correct.
Rookie year, right?
I believe we still had Kevin Williams.
Correct.
Jared Allen.
Very correct.
Correct. Yeah. Yep. Now it gets hard.
Robeson?
Yep. Number 2.
Oh, I was supposed to pick that one for the meme. What are you doing?
Oh. Speaking of Arif memes, Chad Greenway.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You guys are doing well.
All right.
Mhm.
Everson.
Yes.
Oh, of course.
That was my
Yeah.
boy, oh boy, oh boy.
hard.
I thought of a great one.
Brinkley? Jasper?
Ooh, and he had 100 tackles, but no sacks.
The thumper?
That's what I was trying to conjure.
No way.
Wow. I thought he had one. He got stack corrected. I thought they took that off. But I remember one.
All right, Braun and Arif, heads up. Braun, ready, go.
Was Antoine Winfield still on the team?
You
nailed it. Got
You
it.
took mine. You took. Oh, that was on. No. Okay. Vikings were playing 3 linebacker that year. So in addition to Greenway and Brinkley, it was Aaron Henderson. Did he get a sack?
Yes. Wow. That was the only one I had. I think I'm in trouble now.
Good.
4 more available.
I just remembered remembered a random safety in this era. I don't know if he had a sack, but it's a fun name.
I remember a bunch of random Hussein Abdullah. I don't know.
There you go. That's a good guess.
That's going to be a buzzer. That's a point for Reed.
How about Mr. Raymond? Who was the other 4?
Mr.
I was thinking of Raymond.
Yeah. Who's it? Tyrone
Blanton,
something?
Right? It was Robert Blanton?
Robert Blanton was later.
Blanton was a rookie. Blanton was a rookie.
The 4 you
There's
missed.
a rookie.
Latroy Guion.
Latroy Guion, which also means Fred Evans, right? If
Fred
Latroy
Evans.
Guion, therefore
Fred Evans. Wow.
Yeah.
Christian Ballard.
Nice.
And the guy we talked about 20 minutes ago, Chris Cook.
Monster Island.
I would have never gotten those.
Well, if you give me Latroy Guion, I was going to get Fred Evans.
Yeah.
Braun 2, Arif 1, Inman 0. Inman can still tie if he gets the final 2. Now, we're at the stage where I think we're lucky if we get around the circle once.
Oh, boy.
We're going back to 2006.
We've only gotten around the circle once.
Vikings who got sacks. We start with Braun. Ready, set, go.
Kevin Williams.
Yes.
Pat Williams.
Wait, it's not your turn.
Arif's turn.
I'm just trying to get in his head.
Well, now I don't want to do it, but Pat Williams. I'm sure he had one.
He did.
Hey.
Okay, I give everybody one. That's your one I'm going to give you.
What?
No. E.J. Henderson.
Yes.
Crap. Wow. That was the only other one I could conjure. Antoine Winfield.
Ooh, did not have a sack that year. He had 98 tackles, did not have a sack.
Wow.
Braun is out.
Wow.
The game will continue with Arif and Luke Inman. Arif, ready, go.
Tomato can Ray Edwards.
Wow.
Brilliant. Yes.
I thought we were too early for him.
Is this I don't know if he was drafted yet. Kanechi?
Oh.
Did he even get it?
He was a 2005 pick. If the other first rounder with Troy Williamson.
He played in all 16 games.
Didn't get a
sack.
Weird.
Arif ties Braun.
Don't call it a comeback.
All right, Inman can play spoiler. If Inman gets it, we have a tiebreaker. Otherwise, winner takes it between Braun and Arif. We'll go back a little further to 2003.
Oh, boy.
2 years ago. Arif goes
This is going to be rough.
Name drop. Ready, set, go.
Oh, God. Okay, so they didn't sign. They didn't have Pat. Did they just drafted Kevin? Holy crap. Okay. Kevin Williams.
Sack leader. Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Rookie year sack leader.
Is this Corey Chavis? Kochave? That's my guess.
Once again, played every game, 86 tackles,
sick. 8
interceptions, did not have a sack.
Wow.
Didn't trip somebody up on accident in the backfield one time off the edge? Come on, man. Who was that, Tice? What era are we in? No,
that was the Tice. That was the Tice era.
Tice era.
Wow. Okay, Braun.
Fun game.
I believe this was also the E.J. Henderson draft.
Oh, did he?
He would be a rookie, but I don't know if he got a sack, but I'm going to say it.
Man, you guys, 16 games, no sacks.
Oh!
Or are we 31st in the league in sacks?
Arif wins. Shoot!
Was
the other one.
I rule. I am the smartest person
I got greedy.
on the planet. Actually.
Was Chris Hovan? Would that have counted?
Yeah, that was going to be my guess. It was going to be Chris.
Oh,
Hovan.
shoot.
Yes.
Okay. I thought I was taking the easy one away from you by saying EJ Henderson.
So
but
that year, Kevin Williams actually played edge rusher most of the year, right? So who was the other edge rusher? Was it?
Lance
Johnstone.
Lance Johnstone.
Didn't we sign
Holdover from 98, right?
Wow.
Didn't we sign Aaron Campman for a year or two in there? Packers.
Oh, that's heartbreaking.
How fun was this?
I blew a
secondary?
3-1 lead.
Brian Russell had 9 picks. Corey Chavis had 8 picks. Brian Williams had 5.
Yeah. Brian Williams had 3 in one game versus the Lions.
So really, he basically had 2.
4 picks.
That was an utterly insane year.
Yeah.
For them to end up like 9-7 and out of the playoffs.
No. Was that Josh McCown who ended the season?
That was that year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dang. Still hurt.
They lost 4 different times to teams that ended up 4-12.
Wow.
Bears, Cardinals, Raiders,
and Chargers.
Yep. Yeah. That was a team that could not play on grass. They're like, whoa, what is this stuff?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, and then a West
went on the
Coast
road and lost to
and then a West Coast on top of that.
the top 5 draft pick teams.
Yeah.
The difference between turf and grass was so dramatic back then too, because it was like you wore like tennis shoes sometimes on turf. Like that stuff was crazy.
Yeah. Yep. Dudes wore their Jordans on those turfs. What are we doing?
All right. I'm leaving for 2 weeks on vacation, and when I return, I don't know what I'm going to find. There's going to be rubble. There's going to be shrapnel. There's going to be it's going to be ugly.
Well, it'll be a war zone.
Rafiki
One of the
here.
Lukes, I will not disclose who is going to be a prisoner of war.
I mean, we can guess.
That's at minus 130 right now. Yeah.
Wait, are you taking the prisoner of war, or are you just talking generally? Because that does change the answer.
The plan was that I would. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, then I know which Luke. Okay.
It's a surprise. No spoilers.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
Find our audio Locked On Vikings podcast feed. We're now streaming on Locked On Vikings YouTube channel as well as Locked On Sports Minnesota. Thanks to the Lukes. Thanks to Arif. I'm Sam Ekstrom. Thanks for the comments and the subscriptions. These guys will talk to you next time.